Snowboard Kids! At least that's what it's called in Japan. Anyways, Snowboard Kids was developed by however the fuck you say it, and was published by the owned by Sega yet somehow pretty popular Atlus. It was first released in Japan of 1997 on the Nintendo 64, my first ever gaming console. The game got released in America in March of 1998, and strangely enough, the same year Snowboard Kids 2 came out, the first game got a port on the PlayStation 1. However, the PlayStation 1 version never got released outside of Japan, so clearly the Nintendo 64 version is the most well-known version of the game. The game was about, snowboarding, duh. The PS1 version apparently had a storyline, but the Nintendo 64 version, it's just a simple snowboarding game. The Nintendo 64 version also used the Game Pack and the pretty popular Rumble Pack, which vibrates your controller for a few games. Now I know what you're all thinking. What the fuck is a Game Pack? Well, while most Nintendo 64 games, most notably Star Fox 64, had the Rumble Pack bundled with it, the Game Pack was never sold with games that used it. As a result, most people never got to experience most Nintendo 64 games like the Snowboard Kids to their fullest potential. It also doesn't help that a Game Pack can usually store up to just 1.5 games of storage. Yes, 1.5. I've done the math. So you pretty much have to buy multiple Game Packs to accompany each game that uses them, so you better start labeling them. The concept of the Game Pack is that you put it into the controller. Yep, even back then Nintendo was trying desperately to be different. But how exactly do you get to use the Rumble Pack if the Game Pack is already in the controller? Why, it's quite simple, you fucking idiot. After the game loads memory from the Game Pack, it tells you to take the pack out if you want to use the Rumble Pack, in a technique that most Nintendo 64 owners called hot swapping. Then just simply take the Rumble Pack out to reinsert the Game Pack if you're about to enter the save menu. Now, on to the game itself. The game starts off with just 6 characters, with one that's unlockable, Slash, who's my favorite, who's the most balanced racer, Nancy, who is great at turning but can be really slow, Jem, who's slightly faster than Nancy but doesn't turn as well, Linda, who's pretty fast but isn't the best at turning as well, and Tommy, who's the fastest character in the game but again his turning is pretty bleh. Then there's the unlockable character, Shinobin, who isn't the fastest but is much better balanced than Slash. I would consider Shinobin my favorite character, but Slash and the other characters have access to, well, the snowboards. There are 4 different options for the snowboards, with the first 3 being available from the start. Freestyle is great at turning but is the slowest board, All Around is perfectly balanced and is much faster than Freestyle, and Alpine is the fastest out of the other 2 but it's pretty shit at turning. Each board has 3 different levels. Using this little thing called common sense, each level progressively makes the board better. The boards in the 4th option are bonus boards you can buy from the shop. The Star board is my personal favorite board. It's great for turning and it's a pretty fast board. The Feather board is probably the last board you'll unlock, and unlocking it is so bullshit. And it's okay. I mean, what's kind of funny is that it gives you a lot of airtime, which can make you clip through a lot of the ceilings in the levels, and it's pretty funny. The last board is the cheapest one in the shop, and the in-game description calls it a board that is very useless. Oh, come on, game. Give the board a chance before you diss it. That's really oh my god, this board sucks. It's pretty difficult to control, and I'm kinda surprised I managed to get 3rd place twice with this board. Huh. The game also starts out with 6 levels to race on, with 3 that are unlockable. Rookie Mountain. Clearly it's the beginner's level, but it's pretty decent. The game seems to be based off some physics-type gameplay. What I mean is that you don't accelerate, you have to depend on slopes and hills to propel you forward. So if you see a player just nonchalantly passing you up, it usually means you didn't build up enough speed to go faster than them. It can also depend on what type of board you choose. You use the joystick to turn, and if you tilt the joystick at the left or right corners, you can make much sharper turns. Something that bugs me about the N64 is that it has a D-pad, but you never use it for actual gameplay on just about every game. Smash Bros., Mario 64, Snowboard Kids, you never use it to control your characters in games. Don't you think it would have been kinda cool if you could use it in Smash Bros., or just any 2.5 or just 2D game on the N64? Oh well. You could also do tricks. Before you're about to hit a jump, you hold down the A button and you hold the joystick in what direction you want to flip, and then whenever you get to the jump, let go of the A button and you'll do the trick. And you could also hold on to the board by pressing the C buttons. Yeah, the C buttons. That's weird. There's so many buttons on this damn controller. Since this game clearly took notes from Mario Kart, you use items against other racers. Red box items can be activated by pressing the Z button, and blue box items can be activated by pressing the B button. Items in the red boxes can usually be projectiles like bombs, parachutes, gloves, etc. The blue box items can actually benefit you during a race by giving you a fan that increases your speed. God forbid you're on the river in Dizzy Island. Or it could have you send the ghost to spook a player in the lead, laying a rock, or having a mouse go collect money from other players while also doing a little dance. Did I mention this game was developed in Japan? Segueing back to Rookie Mountain, it's a good introduction level. It's short and only has 5 laps, but it's fun and it helps you get adjusted to the game. When you finish a lap, you'll go to a ski raft that'll take you back to the start of the track. That's pretty neat. Big Snowman. The music and design in this level is just brilliant. It only goes for 2 laps, but it's the longest level in the game and it's probably my favorite one. This is around the point where you'll notice how awesome the game's soundtrack is, especially in the PS1 port. It's so catchy, and it's also just one of those games where when you're in the main menu, you just want to stay there and listen to the music, and maybe even do that thing where you move up and down to sync with the music. I have a soft spot for the N64's graphics. They haven't aged well except for maybe Conquer, but I still like how abstract everything looks. The snow looks so smooth, and the snowmen almost look like marshmallows. There's just something about the graphics on the N64 that just makes me love it. Big Snowman is probably the most iconic level. I remember it being the one level I always went back to play, before I discovered Silver Mountain, but I'll get to that. Sunset Mountain. This level always reminded me of Big Mountain, except with a sunset and a lot of rocks. It consists of 3 laps and it's pretty fun. I really like this one bit where there are 2 penguins on top of this cave opening. It almost looks like a face. Looks cool. Night Highway. Awesome level. The music in this level also kicks total ass. Grass Valley. This level is really bizarre for me. The game is called Snowboard Kids, yet the kids are snowboarding on grass? That's not possible. Did they loop up the grass or something? The level's pretty solid, though my sisters kept debating that this open space right here is a secret shortcut that you'd need a fan to cross it. So let's try to cross it with the featherboard. Nope. Paige, Chelsea, Sarah, it was all a lie. It's just there for decoration. Thanks, Atlas. And if you tell me I need to use both the fan and the featherboard, then... No, fuck you. Disneyland. Yay, snowboarding on snow again. Through a theme park. The bumpy cups are pretty annoying, and the river near the end is a nice effect as long as you don't use a fan. So those were all the levels. Now on to the unlockable ones. Quicksand Valley. This is the first level you unlock, and like many other games that have desert-themed levels, it's pretty fucking boring. The design is also really shitty. Seriously, these sandfall segments can go fuck themselves. After you unlock Silver Mountain, I wouldn't really recommend playing it again. No, I'm not complaining about it being sand and not snow, mainly because sandboarding is an actual thing. The level is still boring. Silver Mountain. The guitar riff at the beginning of this level's music is pretty badass. The level itself is very straightforward. The fog can be kind of irritating for most people, but I really don't mind it. I'd say it would definitely be my favorite level in the game, but I don't know, I find Big Mountain to be more iconic. Still, this level's alright. It's probably my second favorite level. It's very replayable. Ninja Land. This is the last level you unlock and it consists of 9 laps? What? This is also the level where you can unlock Shinobin, and it's relatively short, which I guess is why it's 9 laps, but still, 9 laps? The look of this level is pretty unique. Each jump leads to a seasonal change, even if it has nothing to do with snowboarding. At least there's snow at the end of the track. And that's all the levels, and I kinda covered all the boards and characters. What else is there to get? Nothing much. Like I said, you could buy more boards in the shop, and you could also change the color of each board. One weird thing is that Shinobin can't enter the shop.
Come again! Come again! Come again! Come again! Come again! Come again! Come again!
Freaking racist.
Snowboard Kid's still decently enough to get a sequel that got released a year later. It also got a third game on the Nintendo DS, and I hear a lot of terrible things about it. Supposedly, the kids aren't even kids anymore, and from the very few footage I've seen of the game, it doesn't look very inspired. It also doesn't seem to have captured the same feel as the other two games. I would have reviewed Snowboard Kids 2 next, but the game isn't available on Virtual Console and the cartridges can go for some pretty high prices nowadays. I'll definitely give Snowboard Kids 2 a look in the future, but not now. I think this wraps up my review. I guess anything else that I want to say is if you have some sort of memory with Snowboard Kids, I definitely recommend you go back and play it. It's a solid snowboarding game that holds up even after nearly 20 years. Plus the multiplayer is pretty solid, even though the screen resolution gets smaller with each player that plays it, but what are you gonna do? It's a Nintendo 64 and I doubt there's gonna be a Snowboard Kids HD remake. That would be really cool though. Also, don't forget to get a game pack so you could experience more of what the game has to offer. And who knows, maybe Nintendo could put the first game on Virtual Console, and maybe even the second game. That would be cool and convenient. I really want to play it. Please, Nintendo and Atlas, people would buy them. Please. Huh. Well, that was short. Well, guess while I'm on the subject of racing games, the next game we're going to look at on Cooper's perspective is Hot Wheels Suntrack Driver on the original Xbox. Until then, thank you again for watching, and, bye. Yeah.